The wagon train rolled on, its wooden wheels creaking under the scorching sun, leaving behind a storm of dust, and one woman. Clara Whitlock lay half-conscious near a scraggly patch of sagebrush, her skirts torn, lips cracked, and hands trembling with fever. She had pleaded with the trail master to let her stay until her sickness passed, but in a world where progress was survival, weakness was left in the date. Her husband had died of cholera just 3 weeks prior, and without a man to protect her, she had become nothing more than a burden. They had said she'd be dead by morning. But morning brought more than just heat. It brought a man. A lone rider appeared on the ridge, silhouetted by the rising sun. His broad shoulders and wide-brimmed hat cast a long shadow as he dismounted and approached with cautious steps, his rifle slung across his back. He knelt beside her, eyes the color of storm clouds assessing her condition. "You alive, miss?" he asked, his voice a gravel-soft baritone. Clara opened her eyes with effort. "I think so." "Name's Cole McCall," he said, pulling a canteen from his stool bag. "You were might lucky I came this way." "I don't feel lucky." "Well, luck don't always feel like luck when it's happening." He offered her water. She drank greedily, gasping afterward. "You got any people nearby?" "They left me." Her voice cracked. Wagon train, headed west. Cole's face hardened. He didn't ask more. Instead, he slid his arms beneath her, lifting her like she weighed nothing at all. She tried to protest, but her limbs refused. "Easy now," he murmured, steady and firm. "Ain't nobody else out here gonna carry you but me." Chapter 2, Fire and Fever. Cole's camp was nestled in a shallow canyon a few miles off the trail, a hidden place near a bubbling spring, shaded by cottonwoods. He laid Clara down on a bedroll near the fire and set about tending to her. He brewed a strong herbal tea from desert roots, boiled water to clean her wounds, and cooled her forehead with wet cloths. For 2 days, she drifted in and out of fever dreams. Each time she awoke, Cole was there, silent, watchful, tending the fire, or whittling with a dull knife. He never asked about her past again, and for that, Clara was grateful. Her memories of life before the wagon train were buried in sorrow, a loveless marriage, the death of her baby daughter, and finally, her husband's body dumped in a shallow grave outside Fort Kearny. But Cole, he was steady, like an old oak that hadn't yet been struck by lightning. "You nurse all your strays this way?" she asked on the 4th day, her strength returning. He looked up from sharpening his knife. "Only the ones that talk back." Clara smirked. "That so?" A corner of his mouth twitched, and for the first time, she saw a smile touch his weathered face. Chapter 3, Ashes in the Wind. They stayed in the canyon for weeks. Cole showed her how to snare rabbits, how to purify water with hot stones, and how to listen for the wind's warning. She learned he was a former ranch hand turned drifter after a shootout over land rights left his younger brother dead. Justice had never come. Since then, Cole had been roaming, searching for something or running from everything. At night, they sat by the fire, trading stories or staring into the flames. One night, Clara finally asked a question that had burned in her heart. "Why didn't you leave me?" He didn't look away from the fire. "'Cause I know what it feels like to be left." She swallowed hard. "I wasn't sure I'd survive." "I was." A silence passed between them like a hush before a storm. Then, gently, Clara reached out and took his hand. It was the first time he didn't pull away. Chapter 4, The Gunmen from Laramie. Their peace ended when the riders came. Dust rose in the distance one morning as 5 men on horseback approached Cole's camp. He knew them even before they removed their hats. Former associate from Laramie, rough men who once worked for the land baron who destroyed Cole's ranch. Their leader, Briggs Tally, spit in the dirt. "Well, I'll be damned." Cole McCall, hiding out like a groundhog. "Who's the lady?" Cole stepped forward, his stance rigid. "She's none of your business." Briggs sneered. Everything on this side of the mountains is my business. Word is, you've got a price on your head for what happened at Silver Creek." "Self-defense," Cole said, low and calm. "Don't matter to the man who posted the bounty." The situation turned hot quick. Clara stepped behind Cole, her heart pounding. "You come here looking for a fight?" Cole asked. "No, just what's owed. You or your hide." Before Cole could speak, Clara stepped forward. "He saved me. If you take him, you'll answer to me." Briggs laughed. "Look at this. Got himself a wife. That right, Cole?" Cole glanced at Clara, his face unreadable. Then, slowly, he reached for her hand and pulled her beside him. "That's right," he said. "She's my wife. And if you want to take me, you'll have to go through her first." It was a bold bluff, but it changed everything. Briggs spat again, muttered curses, and finally, with a disgusted snort, turned his horse. "Ain't worth it," he said. "You two ain't gonna last out here anyway." They rode off in a thunder of hooves. Once they were gone, Clara turned to Cole. "Wife? Huh." He gave a half-smile. Seemed to shut him up. She smiled back. "Well, you could have done worse." Chapter 5, Thunder Over the Ridge. But danger wasn't done with them. That night, Clara woke to the smell of smoke and the crackling of dry grass ablaze. The riders had returned under cover of night, setting fire to the canyon brush. Cole pulled her up by the arm. "Run. Now." They dashed through the canyon, dodging falling limbs and ash. Clara tripped once, crying out, but Cole caught her before she hit the ground. They made it to higher ground, breathless and covered in soot as the fire swallowed their camp. All they had, gone. They found shelter in an abandoned miner's shack 2 ridges over. Cole, shaken but furious, punched the wall until his knuckles bled. "They're not gonna stop," he said. "I should have ended it back in Lammy." Clara reached for him, wiping blood from his hand. "You don't have to do this alone anymore." He looked at her, that storm behind his eyes beginning to quiet. "And you'd stay with a man like me? A man with enemies and nothing to offer but trouble?" "I'd stay," she said softly, "because I've already been with a man who offered nothing, and he didn't even love me." Tears welled in her eyes. "You're the first man who saw me as more than a burden. The first one who asked nothing and gave everything." He kissed her then, tentatively at first, then deeply, as if to anchor them both against the rising storm of their lives. Chapter 6, Redemption and Roots. In the weeks that followed, Cole and Clara rode into a new town, Red Willow, a place neither of them had known, but both felt drawn to. Cole took work breaking horses at a local ranch, and Clara stitched dresses and mended shirts for the townsfolk. Slowly, they built something real. The townspeople were wary at first, especially of Cole, but Clara's warmth softened even the hardest hearts. She taught school to the younger children, started a garden near their rented cabin, and brought color back into a life once drained by hardship. And Cole, he smiled more. He laughed sometimes. He looked at her like a man who had found the last piece of a broken nap.